Louisiana Beer Reviews 11, Keystone Ice. Keystone Ice was introduced by Coors Brewing Company in here we're going to open it up, 1994. Look at all that smoke. This is cold and I don't want it to get warm. Beautiful amount of smoke. Keystone Ice was introduced in 1994 by Coors Brewing Company in response to the 1990s, mid-90s beer craze, beer fad that was set off by the 93 introduction of Miller's Ice House. Now look at this thick white head. Very bubbly. It's very humid outside, so I don't know how that will affect it. It's about 73 degrees, 74 degrees outside today. Very clear color. You notice it's more golden than straw. Yellow, not golden, yellow. Quite a bit of carbonation with this beer. And it is a shade darker than some other ice beers I find. But it's a nice looking beer in the glass. This is a pint Keystone Ice. You see it in 24 ounces, 16 ounces quite often. Very common. Yes, the aroma is very sweet. The overriding aroma is sweetness. There's an underneath hop smell that's very faint, which you would expect with an ice beer. And it's 5.9% alcohol, and as we know, as you should know or may not know, ice beers are elevated alcohol beers. They take the beer and bring it to a freezing point. They scrape off the water, and then you have a higher alcohol beer left behind. When I got a little bit of it in my nose, I could smell more of the barley, actually. So maybe I do need to suck it into my nose. The aroma is mild. It does have, it's not neutral though, it has some smell. Here's an older can of Keystone Ice, a little older design. You can see the Coors logo. Interesting thing about Coors products, all Coors products, and here's a 12-ounce modern Keystone Ice with the mountains, of course. It's kosher. All Coors products are kosher for whatever reason. They are, and it's indicated. Here's the original Keystone. I bought this probably in 1996 in Louisiana. I haven't seen it in this state since. Specialty line can, quality bottled beer taste. Cold filtered premium beer brewed with the finest all natural ingredients. I don't know. Here's a more modern design. I found this up there in the Chicago area years ago. I have not seen this beer anywhere in the South, the regular Keystone, since at least 1999. Always smooth is the Keystone tagline. Look, the head did not stay around. The head did not stay around, which a lot of times is not a good sign. I'm going to give it a taste test now. In the glass, the aroma dissipated. It is a very smooth beer. There's no doubt about that. They're not lying in their advertising. I think Keystone Light is one of the smoothest, mild, easy drinking ice beers on the market. It has the alcohol punch. You can taste the alcohol underneath. It's not overwhelming. It's not strong. It's not offensive in any way. This beer does have a pleasant rounded taste. You can detect the Look at that. Look at those bubbles. It's very carbonated though. You can detect some of the grains, which is barley and more than likely corn. I'm not sure about that, or rice, but probably corn. But it's so well rounded that you can't really detect anything discernible. Like there's not one ingredient that comes out, but you know, you have the water, barley malt, the adjunct grain, the yeast, and the hops. And it's lightly hopped. The website, Miller Coors website, says that it's lightly hopped beer. It's not designed to have a strong hop taste. This is a, well, let me say this. The Keystone line was introduced in 1989 with the Keystone and the Light. Later on they had a Keystone Dry, but dry beer never caught on, so that didn't last. It's the below premium Coors line. Budget beer, economy beer, whatever you want to call it. It's been fantastically successful, especially the Keystone Light, which you've probably seen many commercials for Keystone Light. You don't see any commercials for the premium or the Keystone Ice. But the Keystone Ice is very popular. The premium is only sold in some parts of the country. But Keystone Ice is everywhere, more or less. Maybe 80% of the market in the U.S., where Keystone Premium might be, I don't know, 40%. It's not in the South. And the Keystone Light is everywhere. Anywhere you see beer sold, you're going to see Keystone Light. But the Keystone Ice gets poor ratings on Beer Advocate, a D. Rate Beer doesn't like it. The Beer and Me, of course, they wouldn't like it. But I've given it good ratings. I gave it a B on Beer Advocate. And being open-minded with this review, yeah, it's got that beer taste, that beer aftertaste, with the underbody of alcohol. You drink 2 of these, you're gonna feel the alcohol. I'm gonna stick with the B. I'm gonna stick with a B rating. I think it is a good beer. I wouldn't say a B plus. It's not very good, but it is good. It's a solid beer. It's made by Coors, so what do you expect? You know, they make quality products. If you're a craft beer enthusiast, you're probably not going to like it, but then most people aren't coming from that approach. I think if you like to have beer at like a crawfish boil or a crab boil, or eating a seafood platter or a pizza or Mexican food or really anything, this is an excellent beer to have with it. It's good. It holds its own against any of the other major competitors. Really, it's relatively cheap. I mean, in the price. The beer itself doesn't taste cheap. Another interesting thing about this is really the only elevated alcohol product that Coors Brewing makes. And you might know that Coors Brewing is today owned by Molson of Canada. And Miller had bought a good amount of the shares in Molson back years ago in the 90s, and Miller and Coors have a working agreement. So one wonders if Miller and Coors aren't a de facto merged company, but they can't be officially merged in the United States because of antitrust laws and all that kind of stuff, you know, so they have to be sneaky about it in a way. There can't be one company. There are 2 companies that are working together, but you could say that's collusion. I don't know if you wanted to approach that from an antitrust viewpoint. I don't care about all that stuff. Anyway, you can see it's a nice looking beer. I recommend it. I would give it a try. Keystone Iced. I've always enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to continue to enjoy it. So, le bon temps roulé. Just want to end this by saying, y'all come on down to New Orleans.